I want you to go to Numbers chapter 7. This is probably I'm not going to use a handout this morning. So grab that Bible in front of you and go to Numbers chapter 7. It's the fourth book of the Old Testament. It's the fourth book of the Bible. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. Numbers chapter 7. And you're probably never going to hear a sermon like this one again on this passage ever, most likely. I've never heard a message on this passage of Scripture ever. But I'm about to. Numbers chapter 7. Now, I'll just kind of quickly set up what's going on here for you before we go too far. They just finished, God's people have been slaves in Egypt for 430 years. God sends Moses to deliver the people out of slavery, and God sends the plagues on the land of Egypt, and Pharaoh gets stubborn and all of that, and then they get out of Egypt, and Pharaoh chases after them. God parts the Red Sea. They go through on dry land. Pharaoh's army says, "Oh well, we can do that too," and chases after them. God lets the water come back together and drowns the whole Egyptian army, and then they go right on through. They press on through the wilderness, heading toward the Promised Land. Now, in the process, God says, "I want you to build me a tent of worship." Sometimes it's called the tabernacle in the Old Testament. "I want you to build me a tent of meeting, a tent of worship, where there's a large outer court and there's a smaller inner court where you go in and only the priest can go into there, and then there's the holy place on the inside." And there's a lot of things we could talk about there about the tabernacle. If you look at the tabernacle in the Old Testament and how it's described, when you look at it, the furniture in the tabernacle is laid out in the shape of a cross. And very interesting things that you start discovering when you look back at the Old Testament. But God knew what was going on a long time before He showed everybody. And but in this particular passage of Scripture, they're going to build this tabernacle, and they don't have what are we going to build it with? It's a nation that has just come out of slavery. Now, they did take with them, because the Egyptians were trying to pay them to leave by the time they were getting out of there. The Egyptians were like, here, tell me, you want some gold? Yeah, you want some silver? Yeah, you want some clothes? Here, just go, And so they actually came out with quite a bit of plunder from the Egyptians. But when the time came for them to build this tabernacle, they were saying, what are we going to do to furnish it? We built it and we got everything. Everybody brought offerings for that. And now He said we're going to furnish it. We need to have, for the sacrifices we're going to offer, we need to have equipment and bowls and we need to have things to kind of get the system up and running now that we've got this tent of meeting built. So we're going to jump in, and this is going to bless you, okay? I mean, this is going to bless you. You're going to be amazed. Here we go. In verse number 12, let's go to verse 10. When the altar was anointed, the leaders brought their offerings for its dedication and presented them before the altar. For the Lord had said to Moses, "Each day one leader is to bring his offering for the dedication of the altar." Now ready? Here we go. The one who brought his offering on the first day was Nahshon, son of Amminadab, of the tribe of Judah. And his offering was 1 silver plate weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each one filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering, 1 golden dish weighing 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb a year old for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, and 5 male lambs a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of Nahshon, son of Amminadab. On the second day, Nathaniel, son of Zuar, leader of Issachar, brought his offering. The offering he brought was, are you ready for this? one silver plate weighing 130 shekels, and one silver sprinkling bowl weighing 70 shekels, both according to the sanctuary shekel, each one filled with the finest flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering, one gold dish weighing 10 shekels filled with incense, one young bull, one ram, one male lamb a year old for a burnt offering, one male goat for a sin offering, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs a year old to be sacrificed as a fellowship offering. This was the offering of the son of Nathaniel, son of Zuar. On the third day, Eliab, son of Helon, leader of the people of Zebulun, brought his offering, and his offering was one silver plate weighing. Okay, I'm not going to make you go through it again, all right? But if we keep reading, we could do that, and then if you notice, it says in verse 36 that happened again on the 5th day, and on verse 42 on the 6th day, and on the 8th, on the 7th day, and in verse 54, the 8th day, Gamaliel, son of Pezadur, leader of the people of Manasseh. And in verse 60, on the 9th day, Abidan, son of Gideoni, leader of the people of Benjamin. On verse 66, on the 10th day, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, leader of the people of Dan. On the 11th day, Pagiel, son of Ochran, leader of the people of Asher. Now, why in the world did it feel necessary for the Lord to put all this stuff in here? What in the world? Now, it takes a while to anybody besides me, when you get to this passage of Scripture, you're like, yep, and it was that guy, and that guy, and that guy, and that guy. All right, here we are, chapter 8, all right? You know, yeah, Wanda calls me and says, how do you say this name right here? Now, some of these, Ahiezer, son of Ammishaddai, I don't have any idea who that guy is. In fact, this is the only time he's ever mentioned in the whole Bible. We have no idea, except that he was the son of that guy right there. We have no idea about anything else about him. We don't know. We don't know why he was, what he did after this. We don't know what he did before this. We have no idea. Now, I would just tell you, when you read the Bible, we tend to notice the big stories. Somebody give me some big names in the Bible. Elijah. Aminadab. Not as well known. Moses. Yeah. I mean, Joshua, Abraham. Yeah. David. We see the big stories, and we remember those big names, those people that just kind of rise above, and that we get a big slice of their story. But the reason I want to read this scripture today, and the reason I want to take the time to notice it, is because I think I know why God put this in here. Now, it all says, all 12 of them say the same things. All of them. And I think that maybe the guy who was originally writing this down was like, could we just get like the one list and then get a list of the 12 guys who gave that, you know? But God, for some reason, said, I want you to stop right here, and I want you to take that guy that brought on that first day, I want you to write out and notice everything that he brought. And then on that second day, I want you to, that guy that brought that second, I want you to write his name down, and his dad's name, and what tribe he was from, and then I want you to write out everything he brought. Why in the world does God do this? Let me tell you why. There has never been a time when you've done something for the Lord when He didn't notice. There has never been a time where you served in some way that God didn't see. When you did something that was just not even, it was the humblest of tasks, God noticed. And in His book, it was all written down. Now, there was a time in my life where the idea of God writing down everything that I did scared me to death. You know what I'm talking about, right? Because we've all been in that moment where we say, uh-oh. Yeah, because you suddenly realize that was wrong and I shouldn't have done it, and God saw. And God's omniscience, His all-knowingness, is a frightening thing if you're not right with God. Because all of a sudden He knows and He saw and He wrote it down. And we look at the end of the world and we see the description, we say, and the books were opened, and the dead, both small and great, were judged out of the things which were written in the books. And we say, oh no. Oh no. I'm a sinner and I've done wrong. But, you see, there was a day where I stood before the courtroom of heaven, and the judge sat above me, and I was guilty, and it was all written down, and it was all part of the record. I couldn't dodge it. I couldn't plead out. I couldn't cut a deal. I had nowhere to go. But Jesus paid my penalty. And He paid my fine, and He stepped up and said, Father, I'd like to serve as this young man's attorney. And I would just like to tell you, Father, that I've already paid the price for his sin. And Father, if you would please look in the books, you'll notice that the penalty has already been paid in full. And I'd like you to set him free. And in heaven, the gavel came down, and the judge said, I declare you not guilty. You're free to go. Whew. And then, here's what's even more amazing than that. If God just did that, if all He did was declare us not guilty and allow us to go, if that's all He did, that would still be amazing. That would be more than enough, more than amazing. But then God said, I'm going to adopt this young man as my own son. Now that's amazing. That's crazy. When do you have the judge who has the right to throw the book at you, say, not only am I going to clear the record, but I'm going to adopt you, and everything that is mine is now yours. But then He did something more. Then He said, since you have been forgiven, I'm going to keep on taking notes on your life. I'm going to keep on taking notes. I'm going to keep noticing. I'm going to keep seeing. But you see, when you're not afraid anymore because of what Christ has done on the cross, when you're not afraid anymore, now God's omniscience, the fact that He knows, is a great comfort. It goes from being fear to being joy, because no longer am I afraid when He writes down. Because I know that I am walking with the Lord, and I know that I'm walking with Jesus, and I know that I'm doing my best to serve Him. And if I sin, I say, Lord, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I don't want to do that anymore. Change my heart and help me to be strong and stand firm. And you know what? He does, because I'm walking in the light. That's called walking in the light. When suddenly the Lord shines light on some area of sin in your life, you say, Lord, thank you. I believe Jesus forgives that too. Now, Lord, would you help me to live for you? And would you sanctify that out of my heart and help me? And you know, God sees, and He's still taking notes on my life. And when I brought something, God noticed. Even if it was just the simplest thing. Even if nobody else saw, God wrote it down. And even if your name is Pagiel, son of Okran, I don't think anybody here has got a name quite like that, all right? Not quite that bad, all right? You can all be thankful. But even if your name, nobody ever knows it. Even if we never know anything else you do. Even if the world never hears about it. Even if you go up to somebody who's who, you go to the who's who in Oklahoma City and you say, I'd like to talk to you about Amanda and Maria. And I'd like to talk to you about Chris. And they say, who? Who? I've never heard of him. You know what? But there is somebody who has. And there is somebody who wrote it all down. And there is somebody who saw when nobody else saw. And he wrote it down. And he's never missed a thing. And when the books are opened and my name is written in the book of life, when the books are open and the dead, small and great, are judged out of the things written in the books, you see, no longer are we in God's debt. We are no longer are we under His judgment. That's what I mean to say. We're always in His debt. But we are no longer under His judgment. Instead, we are under His mercy. And under His mercy, He sees everything you ever did, and He writes it all down. In the Old Testament, there is a verse that says this. It says, all our righteous acts, all our righteousness is like filthy rags. Nothing good you ever did, when it comes to purchasing your salvation, nothing you have ever done is good enough. In fact, if we stacked up everything good you've ever done, it still wouldn't be enough. You know why? Because in God's eyes, when it comes to purchasing your salvation or paying the debt of sin that you owe Him, the debt that you owe Him for your sin, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do at all, because all your righteousness, even your best things that you ever did, are like filthy rags. Nothing you can do. In fact, the word filthy rags is a very polite translation of the word that's there in Hebrew. The word that's there in Hebrew, the best translation would be used menstrual cloths. Now you say, whoa, my goodness, Darrell, what in the world? I did not need to have that this morning. Oh my goodness. I have to help you understand, like this, that's what the Bible writer said. Like everybody would have known that's what it was. They were real polite when they translated this into English. It is not a rag with a little bit of dirt on it. It's not a good situation at all. And that's the best you've got to offer God when it comes to purchasing your salvation. But, now hear this, when we get to the other end of the Scripture, I'm not going to take you there this morning, but when we get to the other end of the Scripture, you get to Revelation and it says, and I saw the crowd in heaven before the throne of God. And they were dressed, it said they were dressed in white robes, which are the righteous acts of the saints. Now wait a minute. Hold on, I thought all our righteousness was like filthy rags. It is until you are saved and bought by the blood of Jesus. And after that, God sees what you do and He says, oh, I'm taking notes. I'm writing it down. I saw that. I saw that humble attitude. I saw how he served. I saw how she did that. Nobody else noticed, but I saw it. And when you get to heaven, all that you have done, God finds a way to bless. Now, the reason I want to bring all this up today is because I want to say thank you. As we wrap up this series today, I just want to say thank you. And I want to do it in a little bit of a different sort of way, all right? I want to take a moment, and I want you to think about somebody that has blessed you. Okay? Somebody that has blessed you. Somebody that has served you in some kind of way. I want you to think about someone who has helped you out of this church family, somebody that has blessed you. Maybe it was a kind word when you needed it. Maybe they brought you a plate of food at a church dinner. Maybe they cleaned the pew that you're sitting on. Maybe they did something and they put up the lyrics that you were singing and that you sang this morning. Maybe they folded a program, or maybe they printed it out, or maybe they did, who knows? Who knows what they did? But some testing 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. We got it back. Adrian was right. For the record on the video, Adrian was right and I was wrong. My battery went dead. All right. Always listen to your sound guy. Always. All right. All right, so here's what I want to say. I want you to think about somebody who has served you. Somebody who has blessed you in some way. And I want you to think about thanking that person. I want you to think about thanking that person. What have they done? Maybe somebody that maybe some way that nobody ever noticed. Maybe something that nobody ever knew it happened except you. Maybe they just were an encouragement to you and they came up and put their arm around your shoulder and said, I'm praying for you. Somebody volunteered. They didn't have to, but they served you and they blessed you. And here's how I'd like to do this today, all right? I'd like to wrap it up like this. I want to say, first of all, I'm going to tell somebody that has blessed me, okay? Somebody that has served me. And then I want that person to come up, and then I want that person to call somebody else up that has blessed them, right? And then I want that person to call somebody who has blessed them. And then I want that person to call somebody. Can we do this? Are we okay? Everybody's like, oh, up front. Oh, no. Can we do that? All right. I want you to find somebody. I want you to think about who you now everybody's really like the wheels are really spinning because they're like, oh no, who am I going to call on? All right. I want you to think about it. Adrian, I want you to take the orange mic and you're going to have to 5-6 shift it, okay? He knows what I'm talking about. You man. All right, great. So I want you to come up and I want you to ask somebody, follow up with somebody that has served you. All right? Here we go. I'm gonna say thank you to Anthony Rogers. All right? Now, y'all don't even know this. But Anthony, come on up, Anthony. All right? And you can think about somebody else that you want to say that you want to invite. All right, y'all don't even know this, but there have been a lot of times that Anthony has blessed and served our church family, and he used to do what Adrian does now. He has done many different things that have helped and blessed me. There have been numerous times over the years in the Man Up House and all kinds of things where I'd say, Anthony, would you mind? And he was always quick to say, yeah, sure, and do it. And I deeply appreciate that, and it ministered to me. Anthony, I love you, buddy. I appreciate it. So now the power is in your hands. So everybody's freaking out now because they're like, "Oh, I'm next," right? So yes. So I want you to somebody who has done something for you in this church family. It may be as wide as somebody who cleaned this church and then you got to be a part of it, or somebody who cooked something at a church dinner or did something connected with that. Think about somebody, and everybody else, y'all think too, okay? Think about somebody that has blessed you and has served you and has made a difference in your life, and I want you to invite them up, all right? Go ahead.
I'm going to choose...
Got to keep it kind of tight, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm going to choose Andrea. Because back when I was actually single, she cooked a lot of meals for me. Like a lot. Like every day it was like, what do you want me to make you? I'm like, this. So
absolutely.
Keeping me nice and full before I actually had somebody to do that. So.
Fantastic.
I was going to thank Linda Shirey because she makes amazing meatballs and brought them to my house after I had both my kids.
Wow, awesome. Linda, come on up, if you will. Yeah, let's give Andrea and Linda a round of applause. So far, it's all food. Have you noticed that? Hey, that's good stuff, all right? And
one of my favorite things is music, and I always appreciate Sister Tyler when she plays that His Eye is on the Sparrow.
Absolutely. All right. Sister Tyler, you don't You don't have to come up because it looks like we'll be standing for a little while longer, but you don't have to come up. But go ahead.
I can't think of anything to say. You don't believe that, do you?
You can. I have a very difficult time believing that Sister Rita Tyler can't think of anything to say.
Linda has brought food many times, and
Yes.
Sister Stetler has brought food many times. And I appreciate those, like Dan, who's cleaned the church.
Absolutely.
I did. It's one family.
All right. Dan, she called you. Come on up. All right. No, you can come on up. You might as well come on up. Do it for the sake. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It's. Come on up for the sake of the video. All right.
Well, I'm gonna pick Lloyd. You know, I'm not for sure why, but he's been like my best bud. You know, if I had to list several people, Adrian worked with me and was a prime example of a young man that is really godly, and his parents. And there's just so many here that I'm so. My father-in-law has improved so much in the last few years. But Lloyd has been there. He's been my friend. And,
Lloyd, come on up then.
people like me actually need friends.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, I've been his friend for way too long. No. God has blessed me with a lot of people. And boy, I tell you what, it's just
Never fed me.
I fed you many times, brother. By the way, no. Anyway, there's just a multitude of people here. I'm kind of like Daniel. Just a multitude of people here that have done many things. Of course, my pastor, spiritual leader. But I do remember one time, little Danny Coker back here, that's what I'm going to call him, okay, because I know he's just a baby. All right, him and his family helped me out one time when I was in a little bit of trouble. So I would say that Danny Coker, he might even remember it. I have no idea. But Danny Coker, come on up here, buddy.
Come on up, Danny.
And
what we're doing is everybody's picking another person that has served
been a
them in
blessing
some
to you.
kind of way. So
yeah.
Danny's like, who am I going to get? Who am I going to get?
I should have hung out in the back with Robbie.
I'm going to get Robbie then before it's all over with. All right. He's laughing at me.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that have been a blessing to me. The Shireys, Brother Shirey, can't hear me. The Shireys, they've been quite a blessing.
All right.
And the Witters, I don't know, a lot of people.
James, come on up.
Call James.
Yep, all right. All right.
Let Rob off the hook.
Somebody get Rob before this is over. All right, we got.
I would say Real has been a blessing to me. A lot of times when we're not here, he'll text and say he misses us and wonder where we're at. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. Ro, come on up. Come on up. And his wife makes good tamales. We're back on food again.
You know, it's hard to choose a person that really give you a blessing. But I want to tell you that all of you is a big blessing for me.
Amen.
Yeah.
Not just one person, but every single one of you. Just by seeing you guys here every day when we have service. And when you guys are not here, I go, what's going on? What's wrong? Why they're not here? So you all are a big blessing for me. But I want to mention one especially. Is Sister.
Catch.
That's all right, old lady gets early sometimes.
Janet? Janet Catron, okay. Janet, come on up, Janet.
And I just want to say that I really love God, and I really appreciated Mrs. Janet Catron, you know. She's a big blessing for me.
let's crowd on in a little bit closer to the middle. Everybody just packing. In fact, if you need to step back behind, that's fine too, all right? Janet, go ahead. Come on in.
I'm like Raul. I appreciate everybody here. And Elizabeth's in the back room, isn't she?
I think so, yeah.
But I'd like to say I really appreciate her.
Yes.
The awfulest day of my life, she put her arms around me and gave me the best hug and cried with me. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pick my daughter to come up here because she's been a huge blessing to me all her life. And I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Mary, we love and appreciate you. And sorry about the crutches, but that'd be all right. If it's not going to hurt anybody's feelings.
No, it's okay.
I'll give you my chair. Old people.
Oh, well, I just want to say that I love and appreciate each and every one of you, too. I agree with Raul. When somebody's not here, a big part of us are missing. But I want to say that I appreciate Brother and Sister Tyler. They're always here, always happy. Brother Tyler greets you at the door. Sister Tyler, and I'm sure both of them probably don't feel well a lot of the time, but Sister Tyler especially always has a smile on her face, and happy, and plays the piano. And when I'm not here, they call to check on me and see how I'm doing. So, Brother and Sister Tyler.
Absolutely. Brother Virgil, would you come on up? Oh, you looking for your mommy? She's over this way. Here we go. There she is. All right. Brother Tyler.
I was thinking of somebody that's not here. Sister Stetler many times have sent food, and especially she knows that I don't eat wheat, so she has sent things that are gluten-free, and I appreciate that.
Right.
My wife is with a sick baby this morning, but who was running 103 in fever in the night. But thank you, Brother Tyler. I will pass that on to her. And I tell you what I'll do, since he had to since he picked somebody who's not here, I'll go one more. All right, and I would like to say thank you to I'd like to say thank you to Rob Fye. Rob, I told him I'd get him. Yeah. Rob, yeah, come on up, Rob. He's got a baby. Yeah, it's a human shield. I see how it is. All right. Rob, I appreciate you very much. And Rob, nobody probably gets to see that part of things very often, but Rob serves in a very, very detailed and time-consuming sort of way in serving as the church bookkeeper. And he runs come on in, Rob. He runs the checkbooks and the software and everything that make it all go. And Rob, I'm not just saying this because your name's on my paycheck, but I appreciate you very much, and you've ministered deeply to my heart, and I appreciate that so much. So, who would you pick?
Oh man! All right. Well, honestly, I was gonna say Brother Tyler, honestly, and you guys don't see this either, but every offering we take it back there, me and Brother Tyler, and he pulls in Raul occasionally, and there's others that Nathan as well. Nathan, there we go. There's a good one, but he comes in and we do this together. He's faithful, consistent. I'm not always here. This is the man right here.
Yeah.
And rolls up here, Nathan. If you'd like to come up, he chips in there. Helps as much as he can. It's a great benefit to me.
Yeah.
It's one of those behind-the-scenes things. We care about the integrity of that process, and so there's more than one person that counts the offering. Everybody signs off on it. It's all written down carefully and all that, because the last thing on God's green earth the church needs isn't the church, and I mean the broader church world, is another financial scandal. Like seriously, have we had enough of that already? And so we value all that. Nathan, come on. Nathan helps out in that kind of way, and we appreciate him very much. Go ahead, Nathan.
Well, I'm going to change and do something just a little different, but
Sure.
I want to say I really appreciate Elaine.
Yeah. Yeah. Elaine, come on up.
I'm sorry I'm emotional, but I have thought many times of her testimony.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
And it has really encouraged me.
Praise God. Good. Good. Amen.
I look forward to hearing her say how many days she's been clean or whatever else.
Yeah.
And that has ministered to me, not necessarily in a physical way, but I have really appreciated that.
Good. Good. Absolutely. God
And I
bless you.
have all that to thankful for Wanda. She's the one that inspired me.
Praise God.
Amen.
How many days clean do you have? Wanda, come on up.
I have 10 months and 11 days.
10 months and 11 days sober. All right. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Oh, that's all right. Come on. You're not that spotlight shy now. I know better than that.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Really, tell the truth, it's not just one.
Yeah, I know.
You just can't just pick one.
Sure.
It's hard. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna pick God. I'm sorry. I mean, if I could call everybody. Okay. She got her head down. She thinks she's slick. Don't be looking around. Come on up here, girl. You know I'm talking to.
All right.
Yeah, she gonna try it. You see her looking back. She experienced, at the food pantry and stuff, and when things would go on, she hold me down. Yeah. So,
Lord have mercy. Come on, Felton. Get up.
Keep it close.
Just for being a member of the family.
Well, you wasn't when I was on a call to. You and Sunshine, because Sunshine's been a blessing to me. Just her smile, and we talk all the time, and she's just a blessing to me.
That's good. That's good. Sunshine, come on up. Come on up. Let me tell you something about Sunshine. When Sunshine lost her leg and went into Manor Care to go through the rehab process, not only does Sunshine have just an amazing megawatt smile, which is ridiculously amazing, but she also, you can turn around if you like, it's all right. And not only does she have that, she also didn't have a lot of easy ways that she could serve from a distance when she wasn't able to come to church. And so I talked to Sunshine. I said, Sunshine, would you do me this favor? Would you promise me that you'll pray for me in certain areas? Just that you'll pray for me. And she said, yeah, I would be glad to do that. Sunshine, I'm with Velma. You've been a blessing to me, and I appreciate it very much. You have somebody you want to choose? All right.
Yeah. I'm choosing Steve Howard because he blessed me with giving me another wheelchair.
Absolutely.
And that works a little bit better than my old one.
There you go. Steve, you want to come on up? You willing to? Can you be the last one up? All right. We'll let you be the last one up. That's fine. All right. All right. In that case, while Steve is thinking about it, I would, since he's going to come up last, I want to go one more. All right. So this is just my chance to do this. I want to say that I have really appreciated very much, especially here over the last few months. I've really appreciated Eric Hughes. Eric God has used him to challenge me. Yesterday we were texting back and forth about some things that God was dealing with us about, and what we needed to, areas we were growing in. God was helping us to grow, and I really appreciate that. It means a lot to have somebody that is on your side, not just for things that you do, but on your side for you as a person. And I appreciate that very much, Eric. Thanks a lot.
All right, who should I pick? I think I'm going to go with Tilly, because she made a good wife in keeping this guy in line. And I appreciate that, because we used to have to do that.
Tilly, come on up. Bring the baby, all right?
I do not have a big wife.
Yes, I got to tell you, I think every wife
my
that is
wife,
here,
but she'd hurt me later.
I too have appreciated Chantilly. She's got a great spirit, and I just have appreciated her encouragement, and she has a great smile too. Seriously, how great is that? So, yeah.
Okay. There's so many people in this church. Sorry.
It's okay. No problem. It's fine. It's all right.
I want to thank, like everybody says, everybody in this church, because when I moved here I was by myself with my daughter, and I met this man here. He brought me here when he invited me. He said, "Do you want to come to my church?" And I was nervous, scared, and I told him, I was like, can I tell you later? And so finally I was like, yeah. I said, you know what, I'm gonna come. So he comes to the apartment to come get me and Jaylee, and just when I walked in, it was just like home. Everybody welcomed me, nobody judged me, and all the everything I went through with this little man right here, like just every prayer I ever got, I felt it every day. But there's like all the women in the church, I'm sorry guys, but these ladies would text me every morning, every night, just randomly, and the words they would say just is what I needed to get me through. But I didn't have to say. One person that I'm always thankful for, not only does she give me life, but she came up here and she helped me when I really needed it. Mom. I just want to thank you.
Do I really have to? Yes. Thank you, Chantilly. We love you.
Good morning. I want to thank you all. I came up here for my daughter and my son-in-law. They've treated me really good, and I love this church. I've always went to a Methodist church, even when I lived in Ponca City. My grandpa told me, he said, you can't make it to town, just walk to a church right where you can find it. And it was a Methodist church. And the one I like to thank is everybody here. Treat me like a family. And where's Callie? She made me some brownies.
You can't hide, Callie. You can't hide.
And I'm still
Come on
eating
up.
on it. It was my birthday this past Monday, and I got brownies, and I just love brownies. Thank you.
Awesome.
Right. The person I think who I feel has made a huge impact on me just by simply showing up every Sunday and picking up people is Mike Russell.
Mike, and would you bring Wanima with you? Because they do that together. And I deeply appreciate it. I'm with you. That's a lot of folks have been picked up and been given rides by Mike. Mike and Wanima have just a huge heart to give and serve and love folks here. And Mike, we love you. We appreciate you.
Well, first up, I'm going to be like Wanda. I'm going to go with God. I mean, if it wasn't for Him getting me
this lovely woman 25 years ago, I wouldn't have even been here at the church. So, from there, we Pastor Darrell. I guess the next person I would have to go with, even though he is kind of a pain in the rear sometimes with his calls. Steve, I love you, brother. I
love you, Steve.
I thank you for your service and the dedication, Chad, and what you went through on that. I'm going to let you off the hook, and I'm going to have Maria come up because of her smiling every time I pick her up on Sunday mornings.
She was just waiting for it. It was just, she was like, oh, here we go.
I'm sorry.
No, stay right here. That's all right. We're packing it in a little tighter here. Yeah.
Thank you, Mike. Well, I have a lot of people to thank for. There have been a blessing to me because everybody has prayed for me when I've needed it. Pastor Darrell was the first one I have to thank for. He's the one that brought me to the Lord, and really I have to thank him for that. Sister Tyler, you're in my book too. You have always called me when I've needed it. Seems like the Lord has always put it into you. I don't come to church sometimes. I've been sick and the phone rings. I missed you in church today. Yeah. Thank you very much. You've been a blessing to me those days.
Good.
Person that has really always been a blessing to me here has been my daughter, because she's always encouraged me when I've been down. She's pulled me through. Sometimes I get real sad and get down. And she's always been right by my side when I've needed her. And she's really, really been a blessing to me.
I was going to pick you. Mainly because, and Pastor Darrell, and the whole church, everybody, this year, in the beginning of the year, I have really tried to change my life over to God. And my mom called me a baby Christian because I'm still learning, and I'm having a lot of hard times with a lot of things. It's really hard for me to be here today. But anytime I have questions about anything in the Bible or stories, my mom, she breaks it down for me and helps me understand it better, and she's really been helping me a lot. I know. I'm going to call out Jamin. I appreciate what you're doing for the teens here on the South Side, including letting Rodney come up and speak. Please keep Rodney in your prayers. Please. But I think Jamin and his wife are doing a wonderful job with what they're doing. I was able to attend, and I'm trying to get some things worked out, and I kind of want to maybe come on Fridays and bring Christian and help y'all out. So,
awesome.
Is it Jamin's turn, or
we have volunteering happening right here in the middle of this? I love it. Yes.
Well, as soon as you said what you were doing here, first person who popped in my head was Callie, because most every Sunday she's more than happy to take Adeline, and it's a relief, especially when I'm trying to do attendance and stuff. And another thing I want to say while I've got the mic is, when I walked in this morning, I looked up and I see Elaine and Ola May right there next to each other. And I've seen y'all are not the same people when y'all first came in those doors. And
it's an encouragement to see that God's working.
Sure.
And it's not just a few of us. There are a lot of, most everyone in this church is not the same people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to call on Kiki. Because when I was told that a couple months ago there was someone else coming to youth group with Daquela and Acacia, my first thought was, oh dear, another teenager. But from day one, she was all smiles and very sweet. I don't know if it's the same at home, but at youth group, she's very sweet. And really encouraging to see someone who is happy to be at church, happy to be there.
Cool.
Acacia.
Come on, if you have somebody you want to thank or somebody you want to say that has made an impact in your life. I know it's getting slimmer and slimmer out there. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'll tell you what. If you don't have anybody, you have anybody specific in mind or not? You do? Not right now. Okay. Let me have the mic and let me do this. All right. Because we're past 12 o'clock, and here's what I want to do. Okay, you ready? This is going to happen in a hurry, so just when I call you, come on, okay? I was just about to say, Chris and Tasha, come on up. Chris and Tasha have cleaned the church carpets. They have made a difference. They have been a blessing to me. I appreciate it. Angie has been just incredibly willing. She's been doing some tutoring work with our kids and has been serving doing the church bulletin. It has been a tremendous help and weight off of me. Elizabeth Hughes is peeking in the door back there. Come on now. Let me tell you, so y'all don't even know this whole row right here, Daquela, Acacia, and all of you guys, that you don't even know this happens, but the night before the delivery, the food pantry truck brings the delivery, they come walking over here like it's like a train of them coming walking over from Ola May's house, and they all bring all the pallets out and set them out the night before and clean up boxes and get things ready. It's incredible, and I appreciate it. Sharon, I so appreciate it. This afternoon this morning I got a text. Tonight Blake and Krista will not be here. I'm sorry, tonight we will not be able to be here. Blake and Krista will need a ride. They have done so much to honor and bless Blake and Krista. Come on up, guys. Christian, come on up. Your mom was talking about you a little bit earlier. Steve, you might as well come up. Adrian, you are the man. I appreciate it. He's incredible back there. Come on up. Jonathan has been an incredible encouragement to me. Incredible smile, amazing person, and a heart that really, truly hungers to know God and wants to do right, and I appreciate it. Cynthia has an incredible smile, which I love, and she loves the Lord, and she's wanting to get closer to God. Chuck and Linda are steady. I love it. That's absolutely steady, absolutely steady in the middle of it. Come on up. Everybody come on up. Mike, so this morning Mike got here every Sunday morning almost. I get a text message from Mike, and he says, open the doors, unlock the doors, please. And so he comes driving in. He folds the programs. Armenia, come on up. Armenia cooks for church dinners and serves and tirelessly. It's amazing. Now, here's the thing. All right, back here where I can eyeball all of you. Sister Tyler, Nora, yeah, y'all come on up, guys. Come on up. No, Nora does helps out with a variety of things. Whenever I've said, Nora, would you mind helping with this? Right there, absolutely. And she keeps Lloyd in line, which all by itself is a ministry. I gotta tell you.
That's that Marine training.
That's right, it's the Marine training. That's what makes her be able to do it. Now, here's the thing. I want us to all bow our heads together because I want to pray, and I want you to pray over the people around you, okay? And just pray over them that God would help them and encourage them and bless them, because you are not alone, all right? You are not alone. We are in this together. Father, I pray today over each one of these people and ask that the Holy Spirit would rest upon us and that you would draw us together as a church and take us to the next level together. Lord, it's amazing to see how the web of your grace just pulls us all together, how the threads of your grace pass from one person to the next person to the next person, and there's not one of these people, there's not one thing that's been done that you didn't see. You saw it all. Every single time that they served, every time they smiled, every time they blessed somebody around them, you saw it. You wrote it down, and someday it's all going to come back. And I pray, Lord, that in the meantime we would never forget that what we do makes a difference, not only here, but in the world to come. In Jesus' name, amen.